All right, so it should be going live here any minute. I'm just verifying. How's it going, everybody? If you guys are on, hello. We're here with Kathryn.
Yes!
Yeah. All right, let's make sure we're good. Oh, we are. Okay, we are going. We're going. Woo! All right. So let me go ahead and mute that. Everybody, welcome. We are on with Kathryn Jones. Kathryn Jones is absolutely amazing. Hello, how's it going?
Hello!
So here's the deal. We have been working on something really, really powerful for you. Kathryn actually reached out to me and said, I want to give something for free for everybody. And I thought about making it paid. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. This has to be free. And she's going to tell you why, what you can get, how you're going to get it, all that above. So stick around, pay attention. This is going to be, I met Kathryn, I heard about Kathryn a year ago, almost a year ago today, when you launched Design Hacking.
Yes.
And you launched, yeah. So when you launched, I heard about it from the launch you did with Spencer, and then we got you on the podcast, and then we funnel hacked you right before Funnel Hacking Live, and you spoke on Funnel Hacking Live, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love Kathryn Jones. So now, I'm going to turn the time over to you. Thank you for hopping on. I love having you here.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Well, right back at you. Are you kidding me? You're amazing. It's actually funny. Your funnel hack, my brother, after Funnel Hacking Live, my brother and my sister-in-law, they were like, because they're both entrepreneurs, and I keep trying to convert them to funnels, right? Like right. Come on down, the price is right. And they finally like picked up on the Kool-Aid when they were there. And so it's super funny. My brother, like right after, was like, hey, have you heard this Ben Mook guy? He did like a really cool funnel hack of your stuff. And I was like, yeah, he's amazing. And he like just binged like all of your stuff. He's like, this dude's cool. I was like, I know. So listen, I think Funnel Hacking Live like finally opened their eyes, and then you really sealed the deal. So I want to say thank you for converting my family to funnels. God bless you.
Well, what happened without you?
Listen, we're all in this together. We are just all in this together. But I think I love this thing where you're like, I didn't know who you were like a year ago. Like I found out about you from Spencer. And I think one of the interesting things is I feel really blessed. People ask me to be on their podcasts and their shows a lot. And so it kind of got too crazy with like everything. So we just like batch them all in one day, and I'll do like a huge like press tour day, like once a month. And once or twice a month. And it's actually so fun because I just get to hang out with cool people like you all day. And, but the thing that was most interesting is that I kept hearing that comment over and over again. They're like, who are you? Like 6 months ago or 8 months ago, like I had no idea who you were. And like, where did you come from? And how did you get known and all this stuff? And the thing that's really interesting is there actually is like a really strategic answer to that question. There's part of me that wishes that it would have been like, oh, well, like a random video of mine went viral and that's blah, blah. And it's like, well, dang it, that didn't happen for me. It's like,
that's the dream, right?
Yeah, I wish it did, but that didn't happen. And so it actually was like really strategic, intentional thing. And so people are like, well, then how did it happen? Where did it, what went down? And I think it actually starts back in 2015. And in 2015, okay, tell me if any of you can resonate with this. In 2015, I would consider myself an entrepreneur, ? Right? Like a year before, I had discovered that you could actually make money online. I was like, oh my gosh, the internet. I remember like, you guys heard of this thing? Like, this is amazing. So I like discovered you can make money on the internet. And so I went through the phase that I think we all go through. And so you might already still be in this phase, but it's the phase where it's like, I have registered this week alone for 47 webinars, and it's like you're on every webinar and you're buying all these random courses, and you don't know what you're doing, but you know that you want to be there, and you're making like random hundreds of dollars every so often. It's like you're kind of trying to sell stuff, but like what's happening? Nobody knows. All you know is that you got like something inside of you that's like, I got to do something. I don't know what it is. I got to do something. That's exactly where it was. So again, I consider myself an entrepreneur, ? Right? Like I think that's where it was at. So during this entrepreneur phase, in 2015, there was a movie that came out called Joy. And we were just talking about this. He just watched the trailer. I literally told him, I was like, dude, listen, like, I know you are busy taking the world, but we got to make this top priority. It's so good. Okay, you guys. So I don't know if you guys, for whoever's watching live or whatever, like if you have seen the movie Joy, drop in the comments. If you have not, think about it, pray about it, make it happen. Okay, because here's the thing. This movie is called Joy, and it's a true story. It's about this woman named Joy Mangano. And she's the woman that invented the self-wringing mop. Also, fun fact, she invented like the velvet line hangers. God bless her. Oh, wow. That woman's done a lot for us, right? But this particular movie is about the self-wringing mop. And it follows her journey. And this woman just faces so much opposition to make a mop. You're like, can't a girl just make a mop? Like, can't you guys just back off and let her make a mop, right? But it's nuts, you guys. Like, at one point, somebody tries to steal her patent, and then she runs out of money, so she has to double mortgage her house, and then her family screws her over, and then you think she's gonna do it, and she finally gets on QVC, and she goes to sell this stuff, and then it just like bombs, right? And it's just like, oh my gosh, right? Like, all for a mop, right? But it's nuts. And then what's so crazy, so again, I'm in this movie theater and I am watching this and I am just resonating with this woman so much because she's just trying to get something going, right? And I think at that point in my entrepreneur realm, like that's how I felt, right? Or I was just like, I'm trying, and I can't quite figure out what it is or how to make it hit or go, but I feel that. And there's this point at the end of the movie where, again, literally, Ben, when you watch this, you just know you can message me because you're going to need some emotional support because it's intense, okay? So at the end, it's like this climax where this man claims that it was his invention. So he's trying to steal her patent. And it's clear that he's a dirtbag and he's trying to steal it, but it's so stressful. And so it's this moment where she goes to go meet him, and what happens in this meeting will just determine the trajectory of everything, right? And so it truly is so stressful because you just fall in love with this woman and you're just like, can she just win? Like, can she just, right? So I didn't even realize, like, the whole time, like, I am literally like scooching more and more up on the edge of my seat of my chair. I am like so in it. And as she is about to walk into the room, right? Walk into the room to go meet with this man, I am so invested in this story. I am resonating so much with this woman that I lose all sense of social awareness, forget that I'm in a public place, right? And I literally yell out, not like speak, yell out at the movie screen as she's walking in the door. I'm like, come on, you can do it. So loud, right? So loud. I'm sitting next to my sister who's like 4 years younger than me. She's mortified, right? She takes her hand and she covers my mouth. She's like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm feeling things. I don't know. I and she's just like, oh my gosh. But I think about that moment all like often, right? Where it was like, I had to get it out. Or it's just like, there's some things I had to get out. And what's really interesting is if you fast forward literally 4 years ago, this is probably right before we met, right before Spencer and I partnered. I find myself, like, literally probably about a month before, I find myself, it's about April 2019. I'm sitting in a internet marketing conference. There's about 2,000 people in the crowd. And I remember exactly where I'm sitting. I'm in the middle back, right? And hardly anybody knows who I am. And at that point, I had launched my program, CF Design School, which shows people how to build funnels that actually convert. And it's actually like, we have about like 200-ish people in there, right? And the great news is that the 200-ish people in there are killing it. Like, they're actually getting amazing results. The bad news is that it's like growing, but like, I can't get it to go, you know? Like, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like, yeah, like incrementally happening, but like, I just cannot get this thing to take off like I know that it should. And it's even more frustrating because the people that are in it are killing it. I'm like, if you people would just listen to me, then I can help you all. But like, nobody's listening to what I'm saying. Oh my gosh. So that's where I'm at, right? And it's just like this like thing inside me is still just like trying to get out, like this movement, like making this thing have wheels and go. And so I'm sitting in the crowd and I'm actually watching at the time. They were one of my biggest competitors and they're on stage. And the tricky thing about this competitor, Ben, is like they are amazing to this day. They're remarkable, like extraordinary. And so you can't, like, you hate them that you can't even hate them because they're just cool, right? And so it's like it makes it all the more frustrating, right? Because I'm watching this person on stage, they're amazing, and in my mind, I'm like, they deserve to be there. They deserve to be there. And they're older than me, so they have decades more experience than me. They push millions of more dollars than me. They have tens of thousands of more followers than me. They're dropping their product name left and right. People are eating it up, and they're backed by $1 billion company. And then there's me, right, who is one of the many. At that point, it was me and one other person working for me. Her name's Rachel. She's amazing. She's from the Philippines, and she was working 10 hours a week, like part-time, like quarter time, right? Like, and so it's just us two. And if I'm being honest, like, I'm kind of running out of money. Like, it's like you have a runway, you know what I mean? But like the runway's getting shorter and shorter. And it's like, if I don't figure this out soon, how to make this thing go, like, we're going to be in a situation. And so I'm sitting in the crowd. And again, I'm just thinking, like, and I don't know, I'm sure some of you have been there where you're just like, I'm screwed. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I have no idea, because again, I can't even hate this person because they're awesome. They're just awesome. And they should be on the stage. But I'm like, how am I going to play this game? And so I'm looking at this competitor, and their business just feels like this well-oiled machine. just this well-oiled machine, just churning stuff out. And so the thought that keeps going through my head out in the crowd amongst the many is I just keep thinking, how do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? And you have to know this like inner dialogue, right? Where I'm like, I have no idea how to beat a machine, right? It's like happening back and forth, but it's also infused with like anxiety and fear. And is this thing going to fail? And what happens if it does fail? And is this thing still going to be inside of me if I fail? And blah, 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 like all it, like we're going through things in the midst of 2,000 people, right? And so how do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? And then again, and then something happens, and it was so clear, this phrase, this sentence that came to my head, and it was so out of nowhere, and honestly just so smart. I have to attribute it to God. Like, it's just, I don't know where it came from, other than like all of a sudden it was in my head. And again, I think it's way too smart for me to have come up with, so like kudos to him, grateful. And so all of a sudden, how do you beat a machine? How do you beat it? It's like, what's coming through my head? And then again, as I'm thinking, how do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? The thought comes to me, and this is it. It says this, it goes, you can beat the way that, how do you beat a machine? You beat a machine with a movement. And I was like, and again, I'm like confused. I'm like, where did that come from? Right? But I'm like, okay, listen, I don't know what that means, but that felt smart. So I'm going to write it down. Like, I'm like, that felt smart. So I'm like, okay, how do you beat a machine? You beat a machine with a movement. And so I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at this phrase, like, you beat a machine with a movement. So at that point, I was like, is there like merit and truth to that? Or like, does that just sound pretty? Because it sounds cool. It sounds pretty cool, right? But I'm like, is there something to that? So I start to think about, okay, well, what are movements that I know about? What are movements? And so all of a sudden I start thinking about the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream, right? Or what happened previously with Rosa Parks when she didn't give up her seat on the bus. There was this huge bus boycott where the very next day, hundreds of thousands of African Americans did not go on the bus, the city buses the next day, which in my opinion is like one of the most badass things that's ever happened, right? It's so awesome. Or everything that happened with the Berlin Wall, or Gandhi and his hunger strikes, or even like the Boston, Massachusetts Tea Party, right? Like all of these things, all these movements. And I'm trying to look at these and I'm like, yeah, they did. They took down machines, like figuratively, these like ideologies or these governments, like they did it. So all of a sudden I'm like, that statement's true. You beat a machine with a movement. That's actually true. I think that's true. So then the next question poses where it's like, okay, well, that's true. Then I want one of those. I want a movement, right? I think I need one of those, because listen, my competitor on stage, I'm not going to be able to outspend him. I can't outspend him, and I'm not going to win in accolades, and I'm not going to win an experience. Like I'm just 29 years old. I don't know how to add more years, right? Like I don't know how to do that. And I don't have the money to outspend them. So my only chance in heck is to have a movement, right? You beat a machine with a movement. So again, I'm looking like, what is a movement? What is a movement? And all of a sudden it comes so clear to me where it's like a movement. All a movement is that the mass of people that both live and believe a singular story. They're all playing the same game, both believe and live a singular story. And so I realized that, and I'm like, ching, you know, when you have like this like clarity moment where you're like, oh my gosh, that's pretty good. But at the same time, simultaneously, then all of a sudden I have this thought where I'm like, oh, Kathryn, you're an idiot. Like, oh, dear sweetheart, right? Because I start to realize I'm looking at what it is that I'm doing already in business. My program, See It Design School, teaches you how to build funnels through a concept called design hacking. And the definition of design hacking is how to present stories and offers that convert. And that's when I'm like, Kathryn, you're an idiot. Like, you figured out how to do this with funnels. Why aren't you doing it everywhere else? Like, is it possible is there a formula for how to present stories that convert through video? Is there a formula for how to present stories that convert for joint ventures? Is there a story for how to do this through podcasts or video or stage or copy? And at that point, Ben, like, I actually didn't know. I didn't know. And I was just like, well, but it was a hypothesis. I was like, we got to try, because it's my only shot. It's my only shot. So as I left that conference, I literally wrote down in my notebook, hashtag Operation Smoke 'em Out. That was the game plan. Operation Smoke 'em Out. Because I was like, listen, I'm never going to bash on them. I have nothing bad to say about my competitors. There's nothing bad to say about them, right? So all I can do is box them out. That's the only, so where I can be so strategically loud about the stories that I'm telling that people won't even know they exist. And I'm not gonna, I can't say anything bad about them because there's nothing bad to say about them, but I can smoke them out. I can get them out. And so that's what I did. So again, I come back from that conference, and decide to design hack everything. I storify everything in my business, right? So all of a sudden the product that you funnel hacked, right? CF Design School, no longer was it just an online program. We attached a graduation to the back end of it. So all of a sudden there was a story arc that people were living. And for joint ventures, so immediately, right, when partnering with Spencer, this happened right after this Operation Smoke 'em Out, right? We created a cool campaign around our joint venture. So it was no longer like, hey, will you sell my product, right? And rather it was like, yes, this is cool what you're doing. I want to be a part of this and promote it. And again, went from having nobody partner with us to being able to do regular 6-figure launches. And then before we're just like trying to get the attention of Dream 100 people and mentors, right? Where like, we're not even getting past gatekeepers. All of a sudden they're reaching out to us because we're so strategic about the story we're telling in our business that they're like, what are you doing? Who are you, right? And within a span of 6 months, Ben, 6 months, literally went from hardly any following to a 7-figure movement, nobody partnering with us to multi 6-figure launches, having our Dream 100 not only turned into peers, but to clients, and all because we decided to actually just be so strategic about presenting stories that convert with design hacking. And I think the thing that was crazy, like, right, again, like 4, 5, 6 months into this, all of a sudden, like at that point we had grown, we had team members, like more at that point because we were growing. And all of a sudden I'm like, guys, I'm like, it worked. Like #Operation Smoke 'em Out. Like we did it. Like it was kind of those things where like, oh my gosh. And it was this beautiful thing where it's like, okay, well, we knew what to do and we knew how to do it. But I also think there was this question of like, why did it work? Like you beat a machine with a movement. It's like, that's true, but why? What is it about that? What is it about a movement that allows you to take down quote unquote machines? And I think this of anything is, I think, maybe the most profound truth that I've learned in any of my internet marketing, business, life things, where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is, if you know this, you win. Like, I'm convinced of this. And the truth is this, is that when you know how to design hack, when you know how to present stories that convert, then all of a sudden your stories become your customer stories. And when your stories become their stories, then your solutions become their solutions. So that competitor might still be preaching on a stage somewhere, right? But all of a sudden, these people that have joined you, because your stories are their stories and your solutions are their solutions, they might look at that person and they might be like, yeah, they have cool stuff, but like, I'm not going to buy from them. I'm not going to buy from them because they don't know me. They don't get me. Like, Ben gets me. His story is my story. He's been through what I've been through. So yeah, there might be somebody with more experience, but they don't know my name. They don't know who I am. And so I'm sticking with Ben. And it was that ideology, that movement, that community, that central message, right? They believed the same story and we all lived the same story that allowed us to smoke them out. #Smoke 'em Out. And so again, like going back to this press tour thing, right? Where I'm like, guys, everybody's asking how we're doing this. And there's so much strategic stuff that comes in the back end of what stories are we telling and how are we telling them? We're really intentional about the content that we put out. And so my team's like, well, let's sell it. Like, it's good. So, like, let's tell people, like, we need to get this out into the world. And oh my gosh, I just love them for this. And they get like really excited and they're like, let's do a coaching program or an event or we could sell to high ticket people and like blah blah, it'll be amazing. They're going like brainstorming lazy ideas and I don't you just love them for this too, that they're like, let's do it, right? Like, take out the world. And I'm listening and I'm kind of quiet, and all of a sudden they're like, wait, Kathryn, like, you're in on this, right? Like, you're good. And I'm like, guys, I think I'm not good. And they're like, what? No, listen, like the coaching program, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys, I think I can't do a coaching program. Not like that. And they were like, why? Like, why not? Like I don't understand. And I was like, well, because I think that I can't charge for it. And at that point, I think they were like, this girl's going through something. Like, she has an aneurysm, like something's going on with her, because I'm like marketing queen, right? I'm like, mark it up, like give it, make it happen, like blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I can't charge for it. And they're like, why? And I'm like, 2 reasons. I was like, number one, I was like, for baby Kathryn. For baby Kathryn that is sitting in that movie theater, literally, God bless me, yelling at the movie theater. Yelling at the movie theater. Again, I'm not ashamed. I'm not proud. I'm somewhere in the middle of that experience, But like, I like yelling in the movie theater and I think about this all the time, like how would the trajectory of everything changed if 2015 Kathryn knew even a sliver of what 2020 Kathryn knew? Like, how much faster could it have taken off, right? How much faster could it have had wheels? And the reality of the matter is that 2015 Kathryn could not afford what it was worth. Like, she just couldn't have done it. And so I was like, guys, listen, I think I have a soft spot in my heart for baby Kathryn and all the baby Kathryns in the world. And I said, and 2, And again, they're like, oh, okay, like what else, you know? And I was like, and two, I said, I think one of the most amazing things about design hacking, when you know how to present stories that convert, it is what gives wheels and wings to good people and good causes and good products to actually get out into the world. And I think it's been really fascinating, especially with the people that we work with in our agency. Like they just come to us and they're like, we think our product is good, but we just can't get it to take off. We just can't do it. And you look at what they have and you're like, oh my gosh, your stuff is good. And they're not an idiot. Like they're not dumb, right? But they just are missing tactics and strategies. That's it. It's tweaks. And so again, it gives good people and good causes and good products wings to go. And so I think if there were ever a time, hashtag 2020, God bless us, right? That like the world needed to be infused with good people and good causes and good products, it's probably now. It's probably right now that we need to do it. So like, honestly, I love my team. They come around, they're like, oh, okay, fine, we'll do it for free. Fine, we'll do it. So I'm like, yes, amazing, right? So again, like in like trying, like we are doing so much to get the word out about this, like going around a bunch of people. We spend so much money on ad money to get people into this just because we know the magnitude of what this information can do, because we've done it for us and we've seen it for our clients and we're excited to share it with the world. And so if you guys, like, I think there's like 3 qualifications where it's like, if you guys, so we're doing a free 5-day workshop. It starts on Monday, okay, next week. So Monday the 10th, it'll be like 30 to 60 minutes every day. It's going to be awesome. And day 1, we're going to go, I'm like actually going to show you the details of hashtag Operation Smoke 'em Out. Like, what did that actually look like? And then day 2, we're going to go over, okay, so what will this look like to make your own plan? So like, what does it look like to present a story that converts in a video or copy or stage? And what if you're uncomfortable on video? Or what if you do affiliate? Or what if you do high ticket, right? Like all these different things. Then day 3, what's so cool is that when you know how to present stories that convert to other people, you know how to use those same frameworks to present stories to yourself, which means that you'll stop shooting yourself in the foot and sabotaging yourself, which that's just what we need. And then on day 4, at that point, you're going to like start to have some momentum. You're going to like have a beast a little bit that you've built. So day 4, I'm actually going to show you systems and automations that you can do in the back end so you don't drown. It's just like, listen, we don't have time to drown over here. And then day 5, what you're going to do is, and I think this is arguably like my most favorite day, is once you start to have this movement start being born, is how do you leverage that to get the attention and backing of big name people to say, oh my gosh, yes, I'm in on this, and to propel your stuff even further. And so if you guys want to come hang out with us, if you have this, like, if there's any part of you that's like literally or figuratively yelling in a public movie theater, right? Just being like, oh, I got to do this thing, like, right? Like, oh, get it out. This is for you. I'm going to help you get it out. Number 2, if you're like, listen, I'm already sitting on something that I'm trying to make go and I want to turn it into a 7-figure movement, this is going to help you to do that. And then number 3, these same tactics will also propel you to the number 1 go-to expert in your space, which is really fun. It means you get paid like number 1, which is just way more fun. We just believe in that. Number 2, your competitors become irrelevant. And 3, you start to build this tribe of not just followers who like and comment on your stuff, but tribe of evangelists who share your stuff because they're like, oh my gosh, like Ben finally found the words that I've been trying to say, right? Like he did it, like he found them. And so they share your stuff. And so again, if you got a beast inside you, you got to get out. If you want to start a 7-figure movement, if you want to become the number 1 go-to expert in your niche, come hang out with us, but you have to register just so that we can get you set up on the back end. We have cool stuff that we're sending you throughout the week, and it's at designhacking.com/workshop. So designhacking.com/workshop. It's going to be awesome. You can come hang out with us 5 days next week, completely and totally free. We're going to give you all the secrets for how we did it. But again, like if there were ever, I just think now's the time. Like, it's like, let's get these things moving already. And it's going to be amazing. So come hang out with us. It will be seriously so much fun.
Okay, so one more time, go over what happens every single day of the 5 days. You cut out for just a moment. What are those 5 things? By the way, everyone, the link is in the chat. You can go check it out now. It'll also be in the description if you're watching the replay. So what are the 5 days? One more time.
Day 1, I'm actually going to show you the behind the scenes of the hashtag Operation Smoke 'em Out schedule, so you can see what it looked like for us. Day 2, we're going to start to lay the foundation for creating your own schedule, your own game plan, right? So what does this look like to present stories that convert in video or funnels or podcast or stage? And what if you get nervous on camera? Like, what does that mean for me? Or what if you sell like a totally different product? We're gonna help you figure it out, okay? Day 3 is when you know the strategies for how to present stories that convert to other people. It's the same strategies that you can use to present stories to yourself in a way that convert. So you stop shooting yourself in the foot and stop sabotaging yourself, which is gonna be really essential if you're gonna be the leader of a movement. Then 4, at that point, you've like kind of created a beast a little bit. And so we're gonna teach you some systems and automations on the back end to make sure you're okay and you don't drown. And then day 5, which I said before, is like, I think this is my favorite day, is once you kind of start to have this movement, how can you leverage that to get the attention and backing of big name people to propel your movement forward even further? So that's what we're going over. Designhacking.com/workshop. It's gonna be a party. It's going to be so much fun. So come hang out with us. It starts on Monday, completely 100% free.
If any of you have, like, if you've enjoyed anything that we've done with Kathryn so far, this is going to be like that on steroids. Plus, there's so much value, guys. You don't understand how much value she's dropping right here.
So good.
There are private workshops that cost thousands of dollars going over what she's doing. They exist. She's giving it away. She's giving it to you because if you're in that situation, it's time to get that win. If you've been hungry for that win, this is that win. This is that opportunity. So really go over to designhacking.com/workshop. Go check it out. I'm going to be on.
Yes. Come hang out with Ben and I. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a party. Oh my gosh. Honestly, thank you so much. When we were thinking about like, oh yeah, like who do we get the word to? How can we get this out? I was like, Ben's humans are good humans because they're strategic and they're analytical and they funnel hack and like they're people that love steps. And like, I don't know if you guys can see, if you're on YouTube, you can see like my books are color coordinated. I'm like, and like my chapstick's Velcro to my desk. I'm like a little bit self-diagnosed OCD. So like I'm a woman of formulas and systems and strategy. And so I was like, these people are the same. They get me, right? Like we're not fluff type people. You're like, tell me the steps to do and we're going to make it happen. That's what we're going to do next week. So it's going to be so fun. Designhacking.com/workshop.
Awesome. Everybody hop on. I'm looking really quick to see if there are any comments or any questions, but go there now. Like I am so stoked. And in the meantime, while you're waiting, once you subscribed and you get, inside the Facebook group, you get access to like, you're giving out workbooks and stuff.
We got stuff for days. It's gonna be great. Just come on down. The price is right. $0. Okay.
Go check it out. And while you got the time, once you've signed up, go watch Joy. Go watch Joy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You'll never be the same. Literally, message me on Facebook once you finish. You're gonna need some emotional support. I'm here for you, Ben. Okay. Here for you. Thank you so much for having me. We'll see you guys on Monday. Okay.
See you guys.